That's it, guys. We come back here again today to talk with a special research colleague is Steffen. So thanks, Steffen, for this opportunity to know more about the human behind of the research. And with me today, you have Professor Mauricio to support me and discuss some details about the life of the Steffen. So thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Stefan, when I look in your journey, well, you're German.
Yes.
You have graduation in physics, then studied a lot of things about the photochemistry and photophysics of the journey of these days, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, looking into the human, because 2 weeks ago, I'm here in Inke, and look at the Stefan with making a key, making a tool to do this equipment, the device, and looking at the street is crashed like a sandpaper or something like that. And try to make it, hey Stefan, what are you doing? I'm doing it too. So I look at this, man, you come from Germany, have PhD, have a great experience, and making something to do his job, manual thing. It's not common because I know a lot of people. Don't have a perfect computer, if you don't have a perfect table, a perfect wedding. Don't make it the job, they give up. And you, 2 weeks ago, are making your tool to do the experiment. So look at this guy is a little different, and I want to know how is created this, what the habitat.
well, to be fair to the other guys that you mentioned, if my computer is not working and it's not an easy problem, then I usually also call the IT or one of my students, because they are usually much better in that than I am. So, but yes, with the tools, this is something German, I would say. It's not just me. It was, well, of course, there it's not everybody, but in our group that I was in, we had lots of guys that just did something. That they made the electronics. Some others were programming. Okay, programming is not so unusual, but they just built something, and then they said, "Oh, I had two students. They were most crazy. They said, "We need a fluorescence microscope." Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a microscope in this room, and we have a laser in that room, but the laser is too heavy to bring it to the other room. So what did they do? They put some mirrors somewhere to the heating, because it was made of metal, so they could put a magnet connector there, put it up to the media connection, because there was a tunnel which went across the wall. So the laser was going to the heating, up to that tunnel, across that tunnel, to the other heating, and to the microscope. And it worked. Well, of course, they also used, for laser security, they used this red and white tape and closed half the room and everything, so you could not go there. But in the end, it worked. Okay, this was a little bit too crazy in the end, but this was the first time that I thought, okay, this looks like some improvisation does the job in the end.
Of course. But when, for example, Professor Mauricio, when I was a kid, his mother gave chemistry to kids, toys of chemistry.
Yeah.
In your case, when you was young, you have something like that? Or no, you're traditional family?
No. I'm coming from rather a workers' family. My parents were quite poor, and they didn't have lots, but they worked all year, all the time, and maybe I became a little bit like them, because my mother was working full day while she was at home. She did construction work on steel, did the plans for steel, for concrete works, for big big factories, or some airport, and also even the TV tower in Berlin. She was part of the team that made these constructions. My father, he was 10 when the war ended, and so he had to feed a family first because his father was dead, and so he could not really learn a lot. He did that later. He went 20 years, he went to evening classes to make 2 engineers, 1 master, and to get into the position that he was in. And that's somehow which told me that it's useful to learn, because my father had a nice position and he worked all day. He was doing 3 jobs in the end, just to get us a good life. But from there I started, and then I was fortunately quite good at school. I was I was lucky. I just didn't have to do anything for that. I just learned it in school. I didn't anything at home. So you get this very soon get this negative name that you are. Oh, this is the guy that. Oh no, but in my case, fortunately, I was the Streber is the German word for that, and I was the cool Streber. So because they realized that I'm out for playing with all the others as well. I just had good marks. So this, but I never wanted to do physics in the beginning. I wanted to become. In principle, my wish was to become a journalist. So
Really?
Yeah, I even went to a special school for math and natural sciences and all that stuff, because they said, yeah, he's good in that. So they sent me there, and then I was there, and I said, yeah, I would like to become a journalist. And I said, oh, well, that's a quite unusual wish for this school, and but in the end, it turned out it will be difficult to become a journalist. Because I was in GDR, and it has lots of positive things. For instance, I could go to school even though my parents were just workers and so on. And so I had lots of support, and everything went perfect for me. However, there was also some part such jobs like journalists, they are a little bit more exposed. You have more influence on the political things. Yeah. So they rather wanted people where they know how they behave. Let's just tell it friendly.
Well, but we're talking. What is the age? The year is.
I went to this special school when I was 14, and it ended with 18, of course. And then I went to the army, and they told me, if you want to become a journalist, you have to go to serve in the army longer than the regular service. So as some sort of, you have to do something for the society if you want something from the society. That at least was the official statement. And but that was for me a no-go. I didn't want to go with the question that when I said, how long do you want to serve in the army? I said, oh, not a day longer than I have to. And I had to serve in the end, but fortunately for me, there was a special program for students of physics and informatics, and what they need for key technology, they called it at that time. We got a shorter service, even so that we could go to study 1 year earlier. So they wanted to have more specialists in a faster time. So that's why they shortened it.
So you started physics.
Yeah.
Taking your graduation. Then you started photophysics and the sequencing.
Well, photophysics was an accident. Yeah. Well. I was a normal student. Well, I don't know if I was normal, but I was I was not the most active student, I must say, because I had a lot of hobbies. I did a lot of things beside my study, and so I did what was necessary, and it worked somehow. And then we came to the final year, and we had to do, of course, that time we had to do some diploma. And before the diploma, there was some lab work to train for the diploma. And they had prepared a list of all the topics that were offered by all the groups in the university. And I went through that list, and in the end, there were 3 topics that I could spell without an error. And I thought, okay, these 3 topics, they were all the same person. I said, I will go to this person. So
the professor?
It was Wernicke.
Right.
Wernicke, he was, well, he was a private, like me and like I am now. That's some sort of adjunct professor, a private docent, that's a private lecturer, that's not really, well, it has exactly the same qualification like a professor, but you don't have the position of a professor. That's slightly different. But he was acting like he had his own small group, and he was focused on holography.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and this, I did my diploma work in his group then. So I built some holographic stuff, which nowadays is a little bit more common everywhere, but at that time it was already something special to do that, to create gratings designed to fit a certain setup, or in my case it was just beam splitters that are adjustable for one or two beams that you can adjust the intensities and so on.
But in this time, how do people look at the photophysics, photochemistry, photobiochemistry? What are the topics of these themes in this time?
Well, when I started with this topic, it was I was in the group of Professor Beate Röder, and she was a specialist for everything related to tetrapyroles. So that was how she described her group, more or less. Well, it was about all the energy and electron transfer processes related to tetrapyroles. At that time, the first PhD that I met, he was involved in proving the Marcos theory and showing some examples experimentally for the inverted region of Marcos. And then we had lots of light harvesting things that they tried to mimic the light harvesting system, or the photo reaction system too, with all these kinones, and so they tried to describe those processes. We had one fellow who was together with me most of the time, where he trained me. He was the specialist in detecting singlet oxygen.
Okay, so after the beginning you look into oxygen singlet.
Yes, that was more or less right from the start. It was my topic. At that time, we were still working with the germanium diet from North Coast, and it was a lot of effort to prepare everything. And he, Steffen Hackbarth, he did the first measurements ever in erythrocyte ghosts. He could show a little signal belonging to the singlet oxygen phosphorescence coming from the membrane of those ghosts. Ghosts are red blood cells which you break up, take out the color, and just leave the membrane behind. That's why they are called ghosts, because you have nothing that disturbs your measurement, but you have a natural membrane.
Okay.
And so this was at that time. It was probably also something for me, because he was a night worker. The ghosts were the technician started preparing the ghosts in the morning and was ready with them at 4 p.m. And then usually he came and started warming the setup, and we were quite known with a pizza service near, because we ordered usually 3 at night, and they knew the way to the lab already. So the two.
Is the culture of German about the photophysics. For example, in Brazil, photochemistry, photobiochemistry is a small world inside of the science. It's really short. In German, it's similar or no? It's different.
It depends very much on the place where you are. For instance, biophysics especially we have one university in Berlin which has quite a big institute for biophysics. And they have lots of highly skilled groups there. In our university at the moment, I'm the exotic guy, the only one who is doing this, because here the focus is rather on material science, and and optics. So everything so related to energy conversion, energy production, like modern solar cells, for instance, or hybrid systems, creating materials with special features and so on. We also have some guys working at CERN for high energy physics, but I would say the majority are more or less in this energy material.
Because I asking that because, for example, here in Brazil, my impression is we have a lot of PDT. Much people knows about PDT, especially the doctors, but they don't use, but they know.
No.
The other topics of the photochemistry, photobiology, photophysics, nobody knows. Much doctors don't know what is singlet oxygen. Much don't know what is triplet oxygen. So that's our job, to try to inform, try to teach them about the basic knowledge.
Yeah, the basic knowledge at least should be there. In the end, the doctor has to have something that is working reliably. So it's not the job of the medical guy or girl to understand everything that is behind. They should mainly know the basic principles, of course, and then they should be the ones who are able to do that with the patient. Well, that's something that we cannot do. That's their job. So they cannot do everything that we do. So we still need some specialists. However, it would be nice if they would know what does it mean, triplet or singlet oxygen. It would be nice if they know that there is some intensities with light, and how deep is the penetration depth and such things. But in the end, it's very often also some technical things. So that's so when you have something like this, they have in the clinics they have such very big lists. I've seen them. It's this type of tumor. Usually we have available several types of treatments, and which one is good and where are the advantages. Then they check how big is it, or what is there some obstacle in the way, and so on. Then they decide for one of those treatments, and PDT is just one of those, of course. And in Germany we have some clinics that know how to do that, and we also in Berlin we have one. In Munich we have a big group that is able to do that, but we don't have so many of them in Germany. and well, when I talk to my doctor, they know what PDT is, but I'm not so sure if they could explain that. But well, it's not their job in the end. It's just the job of those who use it. Yeah, the others need to know. Okay, there is something that might do the trick. Mm-hmm. And under this and these conditions, and then we send them to those who know it better. And there are some of the medics that know it better.
Okay.
So we had even some of these specialists coming to our conferences, some are even organizing them, and we cooperate with them and try to improve the things and follow also their wishes, because there are things that they need to also, they say, they prefer this and this dye, where I say, well, why do you want this one? Because it has some practical advantages. Sure. Which we, of course, we think of the perfect patient who has access all the time. He is perfectly soluble or whatever, sure. And he stands the treatment for 20 years. No, they know the other side, and so they also need to tell us how we should try to develop the things.
That's good. When do you know this stuff, Professor?
Well, I got to know him through a connection with Beata Roder. Steffen started in this field working with her, and she's retired, and we kept connecting each other because I think we have common interest and complementary competence. So when you ask if you have everything ready, you can work, otherwise not. Yes, I could never do. If I have everything ready, do what he does. Mm-hmm. And so it's and he's in the frontiers of equipment development. So the group that he works now, he's the leader in the group, makes new equipment for this. And we are not this type of research group. We don't make equipment, but we want to use the best available. And he's the kind of person that, you're right, he does things in a different way. So he's very practical.
Yeah.
So make it happen. And then also he takes things perhaps more seriously than most of us. He wants to do something, he goes for it. I'll give you an example that I got to know this week ago. He is world champion in classical dancing 2 times.
Really?
When he was younger, of course. But
You're sure?
he decided to do that for some reasons, personal reasons. And then he went so intense, and that most of us don't go that intense. He became world champion. But he has a lot of nice things to tell us about this, perhaps another situation. He learned a lot, he got to know a place, he had partners, but he can go deeper, he can go more intense. And also, it's
not common.
It's not common, but it's a friend. He can come here and ask people from other lab to prepare him a pool with 3D or to go in the sidewalk and do something like that. So this is not usual, that's true. I mean, most people will not do that. You either have the tool or not. He can make the pictures.
Yeah.
Because it's on this intense. He came here, he'll deliver this.
That way is common in German or not? Is it more because in Brazil it's not?
Well, usually people want to deliver what they promise. So this is at least what I know. It's always.
What I know is about the culture. Is the culture form this kind of people, or no? Is it more familiar or something individual? What do you think about it?
Well, it is. We have this statement. Well, still from the old times that if you give your word, you have to keep it. You have to fulfill what you promise. That's what my parents taught me. So and this is very much also in the bubble that I'm living in. To use a modern word, we live in this nice and friendly bubble university, and most of the people there, if they want to do something, they will go for that. And especially in our group, that was, if there was an obstacle, people made something and they created something. And somebody wanted to do the headcam experiment, and then they found something in the garbage somewhere. Then they made it working again. So this, and then they did their experiments with that. And that was, at least those people that I know are like that. To be honest, I don't know if that's true for all the society, but I would expect that other universities at least are not much different than ours. So I would rather say that Germans want to be proud on the work that they have done, and so they aim for finishing it.
Right. It's about this advice you are creating together to identify oxygen singlet, right?
Yeah.
What perspective to this? Have a time to do? Have to finish?
Yeah.
What perspective to apply that?
Well, we are now getting to the point where we are able to measure things in animals, first of all. Some first experiments were done in human beings even. The first I'm allowed to do that. When I spilled some of the material, first thing is before I wash my arm, I started some measurements, of course, and I got some signals already. So this works. However, I hope that we get closer to this, that at least for the experimental treatments in some special clinics, this should be applied soon. That we we will start with observing, of course, that we during the treatment we check what kind of signals can we identify. Are we able to read from these signals what's happening inside of the body that is just being treated, and are we able to improve the treatment that besides this, all the theoretical stuff that we say, yeah, okay, reduce the intensity and use maybe more or less this dye or use this laser. So this is all the technical things, but that somehow collides also with the practical application in the clinics. However, even there, we just got in contact. We want to start measuring those materials that are applied. It will start in skin. It will start in everything close to the surface, of course. But we hope that very soon we can start with some experiments. Until this becomes a standard, well, that's probably still a long way to go, because so far, yes, some model tumors we are able to heal, but that doesn't mean that those are model tumors. They are in one special place where there's nothing else. But usually you have the tumors in somewhere where there are other blood vessels that you are not supposed to destroy or things like this. So then you need to develop some type things. However, we were in contact with medics that told us then, okay, we would like to treat that, but here we have a problem because the vessel is there. Then we may say, okay, maybe we can develop something to block the oxygen there, that there is no treatment. So this is the interaction at the moment, and well, I hope for more in the future, but yeah, it's also well, it's small steps, because each of them is
sizes like that.
But that's also we would like to go faster, but it's that's you have to make sure that your results are reliable, and you have to be able to pay for the equipment that you need for that. So
it's about the process of the science is slower. So, but you connect him to China. I saw in the slide. You have a group in China, Argentina, Professor Mauricio, and Japan. How you make that? These people came from you asking something, try to make combinations, something like that, or you do another way? Because for the first Professor Mauricio, much people come from here looking for him. For you in Germany, it's similar.
Unfortunately not. Not so many come for me, but I'm still benefiting from the time of Professor Röder, because the group was much bigger, and so we had lots of projects.
When it's a bigger, how much people is the bigger?
The bigger that group had, sometimes we were up to 30 persons.
Okay.
So we are now 5, 6. So this is very much different. She had lots of PhD students, so many people in really a lot of different projects, and so she was. This group was quite famous for being the best in detection of single oxygen already that time, and so we were approached by others if we could do some measurements. At that time, it was very common that chemical groups came and said, "Oh, we have something new here. Would you be so nice to measure single oxygen quantum yield for us?" And that was finally the reason why we started the company, where we said, okay, there are so many people that we just want to get some single oxygen quantum yield, so we can also set up, build something where you just put it in, click the button, and to get the result. So many people contacted us. It was with Mauricio. I don't know exactly what was the starting point, but it was before me. What was somebody else? So in Argentine, it was with Enrique at that time. It was on also a project in cooperation, and it was cellulose supported photosensitizers that time. And in Japan, it was Professor Maeda who approached us because he used zinc protoporphyrin at that time also just for treatment of tumors, but he used it as a blocker for an enzyme for the heat shock protein 32 or HO. It's also called heme oxygenase 1. Sometimes they have different names because it looks so different like the heme. It just has zinc in the center instead of manganese. And when there are inflations, what the body does, it breaks some of the heme to in the end create the yellow stuff, which is the super quencher. Yeah,
Gone.
it's gone. It's a name, no, it's not. It's gone, and this stops that. And this is the only way that tumor cells can defend reactive oxygen stress. Normal cells have still another mechanism, and here we are at the point. I know that there is another mechanism. I don't know how it looks like. Probably, maybe you know.
Yeah.
This and the way in the moment when he blocks the heme oxygenase, then you block the only defense of the cells. And then we had the idea. The common idea of maybe we can use the one molecule for both, blocking on one side and generating singlet oxygen at the same time. So that was
Perfect world.
yeah, that was a perfect world, but it was many applications and none of them granted. So welcome to the real world of science. Well, some of them get granted, but it's getting. This is the annoying part. If you have to write 10 proposals to get one granted, this keeps you from the work.
About the photochemistry, photophysics, and photobiochemistry on the world, for you too, how you look this moment for these areas, how they feel about the United States, or German, Brazil, or Latin American, or other countries. How you do see these areas in this world about you? Because you have different formations and look at this different.
Well, I'm not so much involved in politics.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm even in science politics. I'm trying to get along with my little world, to be honest. But what I realized is that there are some regions where the support for the scientists is a little bit better. But at the moment, especially also in Germany, other things are, for obvious reasons, are slightly more important. When then money has to be cut somewhere, then science often is one of the victims.
But the focus in Germany, for your opinion, is the study of photophysics, photophysics in tumor.
Yeah.
This is the great world to study this area, because here in Brazil, for example, Professor Maurício is a reference.
Yeah.
But we study the skin.
Yeah.
Skin and the hair.
Yeah.
So the interaction between the light and the skin. Not look at the tumor. We don't look so much to the inside. We look at the skin. In German, probably.
I'm not so sure if I'm able to judge that, to be honest. Well, in what I realize is that, especially in PDT, there is not so much interest left. So, however, there was just this.
It's same, Professor.
Yeah, I think it's not a question of geography, it's a question of the world we live today. Many restrictions to develop technology that involves fields different, like photonics and drug delivery. These companies don't want to talk. There's problems with who is going to make this? Who is going to convince the doctors to apply this? How much money a company can put on this? So there are many issues that have nothing to do with science that basically drive the world today. And PDT is not in the right track. because the few cases that they were successful in terms of treating patients and making money lasts for not so long. But there are few cases we can say that are known, but they last not so long because of this. The companies really don't want to do that. But in terms
It's
of
not interesting.
yeah, in terms of photomedicine, the growth is a lot in other technologies that do not involve drugs, just the light. And this is growing it's growing a lot now. It has been growing for decades. But then you're treating companies that sell light or rent light, no drugs. And so this is happening fast, I think. We moved to more sun protection, interaction of light with hair and skin for our decision. Doesn't mean that other groups are doing the same. And I see that there is more possibility of getting the knowledge to the society in this than in VDT. And I want to say, like in the presentation of Steffen, that he has two projects with companies. One very nice project, one is the tissues, the livers are not single auction, the walls antimicrobial. You see, these are not medical doctors. These are companies that selling tissues or materials. But the medical doctors, I don't know if we will be able or when we will be able to really make this a first choice treatment or not. I don't know. It doesn't look like good now, as Steffen said. PDT doesn't look good unless for the Photobiochemical Society. Still, if you go to any congress, European, American, worldwide, there are many symposium PDT. So this is not dead. It's there, latent. There are groups, are very important groups, people developing equipment. Somehow, someday, this will come up again. If you last or not, I don't know.
It's same for you?
Yeah, well, he is. Yeah, from the two of, he is the guy who is. He's the real professor. Yeah, so that's what I always say. No, but that's. I mean that in terms of having this better overview on things and doing all more politics. So I would completely agree to that. And with my experience, it is the same. So if companies don't want something, and unfortunately with new medicine, it is just a few companies worldwide that invest more money. Most of the companies now invest less. They rely more on the research that is funded publicly. But still, and this is also decreasing. So I had it live when there was the Russian invasion, and then there was a message in the news. I heard it in the radio in the morning that some money for DAAD is cut. So then I got an email in the afternoon. Sorry, we wanted to fund you, but we can't anymore. Yeah. So this was the experience of real politics. So at that moment, nowadays it's a little bit back, but still we have the problems that we have expenses at many fields. And at some fields they are not to be discussed, and unfortunately science belongs to those fields where the discussion is.
Yeah, I get it. You talked about the professor because he's a professor, but you in Germany, you're just a researcher. Because in Brazil it's not here, not like that.
Yeah.
If you have a research line, you must be a professor too.
Yeah, it's quite uncommon.
Not true. Only this is in the university, and because we are public university, we follow public work. So, but even in USP, a researcher like Steffen with PhD can supervise students, can have a research group. Depends on let's suppose my department can change the rules to say now researchers like Steffen can have a lab space and can have. This is not forbidden by USP or by the state. It's our decision not to do that now because of the many issues to be discussed, but this would be a possibility.
I got it. Because usually when I'm talking to the people say,
Because-
if you're a professor, you can research, make your...
Because he has all the things. He has the PhD. He
Yeah.
has the what's the diploma for
Habilitation.
habilitation. This guy's done everything. But he entered by a certain door that allows me certain things, and not to the other door that allows other things. So in Germany, the professor is very powerful in Germany, much more than here. Oh yeah. There are few professors that have many more research, many more space than here. But there are much less full professors there. So the system is not exactly the same, but perhaps it's also different for me. If I would be a professor in Germany, it would be much different than being a professor here.
And so, well, at least I have this from the law. There's a law, especially in Berlin, which says that I have the right, if I have a certain qualification, I have the right to get a certain lab space. There must be time for my research and all these things, so I can claim them. But in principle, it is very complicated with this organizational system. Somehow they still have the feeling that it should be professors because of this very centralistic system that we have. The professor is within the center and has a lot of power over a certain area, which is a system in discussion whether it's so good to do it like this or to give a little bit more like distribute the power a little bit. However, the qualification that I have is the same like the professor. It's just that I did not apply for a position and had this competition with others. I just was there. So and then I made the qualification, and so I have the right to do this research and also to do that independently. However, they could get me professor not planned, something like this. So but well, so far they didn't, and I'm not sure whether there is interest because I'm within my university. I'm not so very well connected. I would love if that would be a little bit better. That I had would have some research where I could just walk across the street and meet somebody. Well, I will not say that I don't like it to be in Brazil, but but always to go to Japan or to Brazil or Portugal or Finland or wherever we have this cooperation. It's also it's quite far away, and it's not. It's always you need to apply for such things, and it is always a little bit restricted. So but
it's always a personal investment.
Yeah,
personal investment. Right?
He's investing on us. That's I mean, FAPESP is allowing this, but personally, he's here for more than enough. So it's we have to thank him a lot to take his time to come here and work with us.
And we are coming to the end. But did you have some question, Professor, specific to divide with us?
No, I think it's always a thank of Steffen to be here and to be such a person that is able to work with us, not in the ideal situation, he can make it happen, and also he's nice to interact with people, so he's interacting with the group of Sayuri, Miyamoto, Paulo de Macho, he's visiting all the labs, so he brings a lot of dynamics to this, so I like this. I don't want to own him, I want him to do this with me. So thank you, Steffen.
Also, and I like his positivity. He's always so. Well, you somehow this is also maybe it's a typical German thing, but I don't know. But maybe it's also for others that you are willing to invest a lot of work, but at some time, and he is good in that. So somebody comes in and says, "Wow, that looks good. Well done, guy." This is something that I had not so often at home. This is some. I heard it here now. I had some in stock now for the next month.
And I talk like a student. I'm a student, so I'm gonna talk like a student. You're both are inspiration for us. When looking you work, do your connections, do your job. All this teaches. So when I study you with the paper, with the sandpaper, make your tool, and look, this guy is PhD, coming from Germany, do this advice, and now here in the share making his own tool. So it's not common. It's inspiring me to keep it, do what I have to do. Wake up every day and do what I have to do to make my better, no matter the condition. If I have to, I create a condition. Like Professor Mauricio, sometimes I have to create conditions to something happen.
Yeah.
So this inspires. So thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you more closer, know about your life, personal life, and to support.
Thank you for doing this job. This is also very important, and he's running a project of science. How do I say this? To deliver this that we do here to the society, to the people. He writes to the doctors. He writes to people that will be interested. So it's a very nice project and important one. Outreach.
Yeah,
Outreach. Thank you.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Take my friend. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.